Welcome back to the Years in the Making podcast with your hosts
Lizzie.
and Noah. Today we have a very special guest.
Hi, I'm
This-
Noah.
This guy's name is also Noah.
Yeah, I'm the second Noah, not the first.
Well, you were born.
Actually, no, I'm technically the first
You are
Noah.
the first. You were born first.
If we were books of the Bible, I'd be first Noah. You'd be second Noah.
Well, there is no Noah book of the Bible,
Exactly.
as far as I know.
No, probably in
It's
like
just
the
Genesis.
Apocrypha.
Okay, well, this is Noah Hooper. Now, Noah Hooper is a longtime friend of mine.
Yes.
We'll get into that a little bit later. But we are doing a new icebreaker challenge today. Lizzie desperately wants to host, but I'm not going to let her because it's going to be funny to look back in embarrassment of, how much me and Noah cook. But anyways, this is a new icebreaker challenge, and it is name as many Christian artists as possible. Now, we're going to go in order: Lizzie, Noah, and then we'll go back to Lizzie. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Makes
All
sense to me.
So, I guess we just need to share the mic since Noah has one at all times.
I can
Yeah.
pass it. You can pass it.
Yep.
I'm done. Steven, are we starting?
We're starting.
Stephen Curtis Chapman.
Crowder.
The Wiznets.
Who's that?
I'm gonna pull out some random. I'm just here to pull out the most random artist possible.
Okay, Fanny Crosby. What?
I can't. The Collingsworth family.
Forrest Frank.
Maverick City Music.
Josiah Queen.
The Booth Brothers.
Elevation Worship.
Elevation Rhythm.
Ooh. Shane and Shane.
Yep.
Mitch Wong.
Lecrae.
Keith and Kristen Getty.
No, I can't take you
I'm dead serious.
I love this.
They wrote in Christ alone and
This is
everything.
great.
Tyler Gaulden.
Dude, I can't with you. Benjamin William Hastings.
CT and Becky Townsend.
The Carr family.
That's a real one.
There's no way that
Yes.
you just made that up.
Yes,
No.
that is 100% real.
It's Gracie Hobbs.
Oh yeah.
That's 100%
Oh my
real.
gosh, I thought she made that up. Brandon Lake.
Sovereign Grace Music.
Okay, hold on. Laura Story.
Lauren Daigle.
Lauren Talley.
Dude, I can't.
Madison Watkins.
Holvey.
City of Light.
Red Rocks Worship.
Tadashi.
Who is that?
It's a Christian rapper.
That's a random one. I'm trying to think of what I've said now. Oh, Matt Boswell and Matt Papa.
I'm so sorry.
Dude, my cheeks hurt from smiling so hard. This is great.
Okay, I knew this would happen to me.
We're gonna go really old.
Just give me like 10
I'll
seconds.
give you some seconds.
No, give me some time, please.
I got you.
Elevation Rhythm.
Yeah. Honestly, this is your last chance.
Just give me 2 more seconds. Oh, Noah from Joseph O'Brien.
You're not gonna get another one of those. Chris Tomlin.
The Gaither Vocal Band.
Yep, good one.
Newsboys.
New song.
The McCamies.
Chris Tomlin.
I just said that.
Did
You're out.
you actually say that?
Yeah, I literally just said that.
I was wondering.
Didn't I just say that?
I thought
You
like
did.
so. I heard
Okay.
that, but I couldn't.
All right, now it's the Battle of the
Okay.
Noahs. This is going to be a great one. Chris Renzema.
Ooh, he's a good one. The Mylan Hayes family.
Scotty Wap.
Who is that?
Christian
That's
rapper,
crazy.
bruh.
The Inspirations. You know, I could be making up names, y'all wouldn't even
You
know.
probably
I
could.
have not.
Actually
These are all
wouldn't
completely
know.
real.
Danny Goki.
Caleb and Kelsey.
Zach Williams.
My brain's going out on me now. Wow.
Why did I not name the people that we're literally going to go see this month?
Is Noah taking the L?
Might be.
Give me 2 more seconds. You give me 2 more seconds.
Said Brandon Lake. Said Frank. Why can my brain stopped working? Did I
told
say
you that's
Gold
what happened to
City?
me.
I didn't say
No,
Gold
you
City
didn't.
did it. There you go.
Oh,
There's
you
another
did.
one. Another random one.
Sadie Robertson Huff.
She sings?
She just came out with one song.
One
Yeah.
song? Does that count?
It does.
One single song?
It's just an artist.
Oh goodness. Kirk Franklin.
L.O. Worship.
Tasha Cobbs Leonard.
CeCe Winans.
What's the other one?
Yeah, I was trying to think.
DOE. Doe, whatever her name
That's
is.
what I was trying to think of.
Right.
Who opened?
Jimmy
Yeah.
Clifton.
Taya.
That's a good one.
That was a good one.
Zonti.
Who is that?
Christian rapper.
Phil Wickham.
Oh goodness. Let's go with We the Kingdom.
Matt Maher.
Mercy Me.
Leland.
Need to Breathe.
Ren Collective.
He's getting me here. Brooke Lighterwood. I think that's how that's probably not how you say
Yeah,
it.
lighter.
We Are Messengers.
Oh, okay.
Picking up the pace.
For King and Country. Lizzie fixed it.
Oh no,
That's funny.
That's
That was the
that's
cat.
never happened.
That was the cat.
that was crazy. That was actually crazy.
A little intermission.
Little intermission. I gotta think.
Dude, I can't think. This is bad.
Oh, another random Southern gospel artist.
Love it.
The Perrys.
Oh, for real.
Okay, yeah. The Irwins.
Ooh.
Pulled that one out of the...
The Jim Brady trio.
Dude, Noah is killing me right now. Noah is absolutely beating me right now. The David Crowder Band.
Ooh. Ooh. The Nealons.
Henrik.
You're pulling out all the Christian rappers.
I am.
You pulled out all the Christian rappers.
I have.
Hmm.
How's that going, Lizzie?
The Lawsons.
Dude,
That's a real one. They're in Reidsville. That's a real one.
dude's just coming out with it right now.
I'm just naming a bunch of random family names. What?
Lizzie's doing
It's
fixing
not-
our technical difficulties.
not
You can
safe.
scoot it over if you need to. Okay.
This battle's gonna last literally like 15
It
minutes.
will.
It's gonna last.
Steph Wong. That's Mitch Wong's sister.
Have we said Steph the Schluter guy, the
Nope.
one counting your
Nope.
blessings?
Good job.
There you go.
KB.
You listen to all the Christian rappers apparently. Goodness, there's a one that. Oh, Andrew Peterson.
Andrew. Wait. Noah, are you good with taking a tie?
Yeah, that's fair. You said who did you say?
No, I thought I was trying to say Noah, but I said Andrew.
Andrew. Yeah, that's fair.
Noah, we'll take the tie on this.
We
I
might.
think we both did a very good job.
Yeah.
But
y'all killed it.
My brain's really hurting.
I would like to see how long we could do that.
We could do it
This
for a
is
while.
like God's naming random athletes, but instead it's random Christian artists. So
Okay, well, that was fun. Lizzie, it was a good game. You're taking third place. Me and Noah tied for first. And it was getting really hard at the end of that. I'm not
yeah,
gonna-
I was like, my brain is not at the state of the day to be remembering.
It
a lot of
was
stuff
literally
right now.
when you said that, like, oh, like my brain's not working. That's exactly when my brain stopped working. But I'm gonna look back on this and be like, yeah, I missed this, and this. Like,
Oh yeah,
You missed Pat
Easily.
Barrett.
Pat Barrett. Yeah, there's a ton of people I missed, or we both missed.
Casting Crowns.
Casting Crowns.
But
I
the thing
definitely
is,
said
when you
that.
stop the game, you can now think of them.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
when I sit here, I was thinking of them left and right.
Yep.
So,
Well, that was our icebreaker. Name as many Christian artists as possible.
We just broke a whole iceberg.
We broke an
Dude,
iceberg. We
yeah.
broke a
That's how
sound
good that
barrier
icebreaker
with
was.
our Christian artists that nobody knew existed. Okay. So, this is the years of making podcasts. This is actually episode 10. So, Noah, how do you feel to be the third guest and on the 10th podcast?
I mean, it feels pretty incredible.
Isn't
I'm the
it-
first
it's an honor.
guest by myself too, so that's a different.
I was
Different
talking
level.
about that to Lizzie earlier.
Yeah.
The first
It's just because I'm
individual
hopelessly
guest.
single.
That's okay.
That's okay.
God will make a way.
Yeah, we're good.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to jump into the first segment, which is how we all met Noah. All right, Noah, do you remember how we met?
I'm guessing we met at like Eastside's day camp
Right.
during the summer.
That's
And
what
you
I
were-
was going to say.
You were,
Wait, what? You used to go to Eastside's day camp?
yeah. I would go with the Coxes.
Yep, he used to come.
They would like because we
Wait,
live like a few minutes from
what?
them. They would pick me up, and I would go to Eastside day camp.
That's
yeah.
exactly where we met.
I would go for like 3 years,
Okay,
probably
I'm
3
like,
4 years.
hold on 1 second. I just need to
I was short and chubby back then. Like
Me too. How funny is that?
that's crazy. You were not as short and chubby as I was though.
Nah,
I was the different level. Probably wearing a flat bill hat. It was just embarrassing.
a flat bill hat is crazy. Little Celtics shirt jersey.
Oh,
or something.
Celtics, absolutely.
But me and Noah, I would say our moms would probably know better than us. But
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I think like we met, at our church's day camp.
More than
Um,
likely, yeah. You were running around with a bowl cut, probably.
Yep, bowl cut, Noah, and me,
Sorry.
Lizzie, and Noah were all like, regardless of whether we thought about it or not, we were all at the same like
Yeah.
day camp.
Mhm.
Even
That's crazy.
Because I grew up at Eastside. So, I mean, I always went to the day camp there.
though, right?
Yeah, that's
Crazy.
crazy. We'll have to go back through, like, Eastside's Facebook post and, like,
Yeah, it's nostalgic for sure.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't really have any like early memories of Noah. Like you said, I remember Noah being chubby and a
Very
big
fair.
basketball fan.
Very
Always
fair.
been a North Carolina UNC fan. But besides those memories, like did you ever play spring league?
Yes.
Okay, so we probably played each other in
Mhm.
spring league, but we really haven't like connected. Like back in the day, we really didn't have any other connections besides that.
No.
The most recent happenings, which is when I think Lizzie and Noah talked for the first time, was I think it was Adam and Marissa's wedding.
May have been at the blend.
I think it was the
It
blend.
may
I think
have
it was
been at the blend.
because I had like seen Lizzie before.
Okay.
But like I'd only seen her through your Instagram post, and it was like
Yeah.
one of those things where like, should I say something or not?
Right.
Because like we probably both know who each other are, but that
Yeah.
could be weird. So it was one day when you and her both were in the blend.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Because I remember I was eating.
Because I was in your Be Real too.
That's
that day.
right. I was eating Smokehouse at Steve's. I
Yeah.
remember. And Noah was in the back of my B reel,
How could you
Yeah.
remember that?
I don't
That is
know.
hilarious.
and I was watching.
Ole.
It was a baseball bat.
Oh, that was funny. Okay, we're good.
It's not an intruder.
We're good. Well, if it was an intruder, the intruder used what we would have used on the intruder, the baseball bat.
That's tough.
But anyways, Lizzie and Noah probably first started talking to each other probably at the blend when me and Noah randomly saw each other, and me and you like before like seeing each other at the blend, like we never really like we followed each other on Instagram and stuff, but we never
Mhm.
really like talked or
Interactive.
like had any contact with each other.
That was the day I got you. You gave me your phone number that day too. So
That's
that was
right.
literally like
Yeah, exactly. But I like we never really had any sort of contact before that. So I think that really like kind of opened the door for us, and that's why he's here right now. But it's just cool we both have the same name. I don't know a
that's
ton
right.
of
That's
Noahs.
what connects us.
What's your middle name?
Todd.
Daniel.
I was just if it had the same middle name too.
That'd
That would
crazy.
be wild.
That would be crazy. But Lizzie and Noah, it's just weird to say that. Lizzie and Noah Hooper met
Hooper.
at the blend, and then we conversated there. But also, Adam and Marissa's wedding was another time that we all saw each other.
Yeah, y'all saved me that day because I didn't know like anybody else during the actual wedding. So
Yeah.
like all of my friends were in the wedding. So y'all saved me because I was just by myself.
We
That was
were
fun.
Noah Hooper was the third wheel that
Yeah, I
day
very much third wheel that day.
because we were still not married. We were engaged. So that's how we all met Noah. I think we were all together at Eastside's day camp back in the day, but we never really connected there. We were all in the same, area, but we never talked. But I think the first time we all talked as three people was at the blend, and then at the wedding, at Marissa's wedding.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how we all met. Now, Noah, we're going to talk about your podcast now.
Mhm.
So if you want to give a little backstory as to, what made you want to start your podcast,
Mhm.
and then we'll ask you a few questions after you answer that, I guess.
Okay, so I host the Tall by Grace podcast. Started it in 2020. Was just kind of like basically nothing going on, and I hadn't been preaching and teaching much because of COVID, and just churches were closed, wasn't out. So one day I was like, decided to do what 10,000 other Christians have decided to do, and start a podcast. And started a little devotional podcast in 2020, just kind of like going through books of the Bible. The whole kind of purpose of it was just to, like, I didn't figure many people would listen to it, and if anybody listened to it, it was just kind of like, I want to grow in my own ability as a preacher and teacher more than anything, and be able to start working through books of the Bible, passages, things like that. And so I've been doing it for 4 years now. I think we're at like 190 episodes almost now, which is pretty
crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I haven't been as like active in it this year. It's just been life crazy and stuff, but hopefully going to pick it up some more soon. But yeah, that's kind of how it started.
So do you like feel like, I guess, led more by God to do it like during COVID, or was it more like you were just bored and wanted something to do? Or
I think it was just kind of like a somewhat noble desire to exercise my gifting as a teacher and grow in it, because I genuinely was kind of in the place of like, I don't know if anyone's going to listen to it, and I don't really care if they listen to it. Regardless, it's going to make me better for down the road as a pastor.
Absolutely.
So that was kind of the backstory behind it. It wasn't just because I'm like, I'm bored, I'm going to start talking, because I mean, it was like I was trying to be proactive in it too. Yeah,
but it was during COVID though, right?
Yeah, it was July of 2020 was the first episode.
Pretty much just sitting around the house, not really much to do. So.
Nope.
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought you started it a little bit before COVID. That's cool though. So you've celebrated like the 4-year anniversary of that.
Basically, cool. I completely missed the anniversary, but
we all did. We miss the anniversary every year. But yeah, I think I started listening to Noah's podcast probably last year. And I haven't listened to every single episode
you should have binged it within a week.
That is absolutely possible, but I think I started from the beginning, and then I ended up at like episode 20 something, and then I just kind of followed you weekly, because I know at one point
just skip past the early episodes.
Yeah, the mic quality and everything like that.
Oh, I was using Beats earbuds. Like, I was using wireless Beats earbuds that were like that was what I was using to start off with. So the mic quality was garbage in the beginning.
Dude, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Beats earbuds.
Yeah, and they weren't good ones.
What did you record it on your phone, right?
I was recording I started off recording on my phone. Okay. And I just had and they were wired Beats earbuds, though they were like wired together, even though they were wireless from my phone.
Dude.
So, and then I used Apple earbuds that were plugged in that actually sounded pretty good.
Oh yeah.
And then I got a microphone. So.
Was there an app you used to
I just used Anchor, because that's the podcasting platform. So I just used Anchor, and then I used Audacity for everything.
Now. Okay. So how did you learn? Did you just kind of do your own research about it and figure that out, or?
Kind of. I just knew people used Anchor, and it was free, and that was kind of the main thing, was it was free, and it was pretty easy to edit on it. And then I've used Audacity for other stuff with church before, and it's free and easy. So I just use that for editing now. Yeah,
now it's Spotify for podcasters.
Right? Yeah, I'll still call it Anchor, because I'm
because you're old-fashioned.
That's right. That's like, I'm never going to call X.
Love it.
It's always Twitter.
Okay, so I think we talked about this when we were eating, but what is your favorite episode?
I think my favorite episode is probably pretty easily the episode I recorded with my grandpa, which is, it's called, I think, A Faithful God, A Faithful Life. And I just got to sit down and talk with my grandpa about God's faithfulness in his life, and he got to share with how God had just kept him through all kinds of things and offer wisdom, and it was great. And I mean, I appreciate it now, but I think I'm going to appreciate it more in
I was going to say that, look back on it.
Oh, yeah, 15, 20 years down the road, when I'm have my kids in the car and be like, hey, you're going to listen to your grandpa talk for your great grandpa talk for 25, 30 minutes here. And so it's really cool, because I know all the stories.
Right.
And it's really cool to have an actual recording of the stories and be able to go back and listen to that. I think it's going to be even more precious to me in the coming years, but it was just really cool to sit down with him.
Yeah, absolutely. That's probably my favorite episode too.
I was to say, you talked to me about it.
Yeah.
You were talking to me about the episode.
Did the one with Adam, was that was on your podcast, right?
Yeah, that's 1A.
That's 1A. There you
go. Obviously, Adam.
Yeah, I obviously you're using kind of when you do it with the other ones, you're going, basically on topic, but with, with Adam or, your grandpa, it was kind of a totally different thing. You know,
Mhm.
it's a little bit different, but you know, that's kind of when you change things up a little bit and made it a little bit different. That's kind of why I guess I liked it so much
Mhm.
because you know it's something new.
Yeah.
And you excelled at it. I thought it was really good.
Yeah,
Both of those episodes.
they were fun. One with Adam was really fun too.
Yep.
It was good.
And then with the podcast, was there an episode that has the most views? Do you know?
Yeah, it's actually the very first episode.
Oh, okay, that
The
makes sense.
Very first episode has the most views.
Okay.
I guess Taught by Grace is what it's called, I think. But yeah, this is the first episode has the most views.
Was
which is
that
kinda
your
crazy?
Was that your intro or was it an actual?
It
like,
was a
podcast?
full episode. I
Okay.
did like a trailer and then a full episode, but it was just going through Titus 2 verses 11 to 14 because that's
Okay.
where the podcast like name comes from
Right.
about being taught by grace and live
Okay.
for the glory of God. So that was kind of what the first episode was, and it yeah, has the most views.
Cool. All right, that's all I had about the podcast. Now, as you talked about, you know, you were called to preach. You talked about that a little bit when you were talking about your podcast, and you know, during COVID, you know, wanting to start that up.
Yeah.
Talk about kind of a little bit of how that started, and then when you first, I guess, like heard that calling, and then how you ended up like accepting that calling.
Yeah. So I've grown up in church, got saved at a young age, and I've always kind of had a desire for ministry, but especially because y'all have grown up pretty much in the same church context I have.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When you hear preachers talk about surrendering to preaching, most of the time it's like I did not want to do it at all, and I ran from it. Like,
Yeah.
and if you didn't have that, like, you can't be called to preach. And like, whenever I thought about preaching and pastoring, I'm like, that's really kind of the only thing I want to do. But
Really?
I mean, I want to do it, so I must not be called to do it.
Huh.
And then one day I was at camp and Tom Farrell was preaching, and he just like randomly threw in a line from 1 Timothy 3:1 that if a man desires the office of a bishop, he desires a good work. And he like just randomly like threw it in. Like, there's some of you guys that are here that like you desire ministry, and if you
Yeah.
desire it, maybe you should like think about pursuing it.
Right.
And it kind of like clicked in that moment for me. Oh, this desire is here from God. And I started talking about it to the people in my life, and they all confirmed it. Because it's like,
Yeah.
whenever we think God's calling us to something, it's always going to be confirmed by the Bible and by the church, because
Right.
the church is going to see it and say, I see this in you. If I had done that and everybody looked at me and was like, what are you talking about? You have no business doing any of this. I would have been like, okay, maybe I should go do something in like sports broadcasting or different.
Yeah.
But because there was that confirmation, I just kind of started immediately after that, started pursuing it. And that was in 2018 when I surrendered there, and I preached for the first time in October of that year.
How old were you?
17.
17.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
So I
awesome.
surrendered date 17.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've never heard that. That's just really interesting.
Mhm.
17. I mean, I would say that that's pretty common. Probably around that teenage year.
Mhm.
That's kind of when you're maturing at the same time and growing, but at the same time, like if you reject it, then it's probably going to be harder to come back and be like, oh, I was called to preach when I was a teenager,
Mhm.
and then going up into your more like 20s and stuff like that. The more likely you put it off, the less likely you're actually gonna
Oh, for sure.
surrender to it.
Mhm.
But obviously, there's gonna be that guilt and stuff. But
Yeah.
I guess it's how it goes. But with your preaching, I had to put something about an embarrassing story.
Mm.
Now you don't have to go into. I don't know about like any stories of embarrassing stories
That's
for
actually
you.
tough. I like thought a lot about that question.
But like if you don't have anything, it's fine. But like if you do like have any sort of like
Or like embarrassing or like crazy
or like a hiccup.
I've had some crazy things happen in like rest homes before.
Okay.
That's so like I don't have any, because I like write a full manuscript every time I preach.
Okay.
So it kind of prevents me from saying things
saying
too crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
There was one time I was in a rest home. It was like in a rest home where they're kind of the people there. They're just their minds aren't in a good
What
space,
they used to do,
basically.
yeah.
And one lady was trying to take her shirt off while I was preaching, so that was fun. Let me think. I don't have a lot of wild stories from my preaching. There was
Yeah.
one time when I like was preaching at this small church out near where I live, and I was like attempting to give an invitation, or like looked at the pianist and was just kind of like, you can come forward or something. It was just so awkward. After that, I just prayed, and like normally I just prayed and went and sat down and let whoever was like running the service take back over.
That would be awkward. Like if you're like a guest preacher or something, and like you don't know if you need to do the invitation
No.
or you need to handing off to the
No,
pastor?
I always just like whenever I finish preaching, I pray and then I just like walk
Go
out.
sit down.
Yeah,
Yep.
and normally the pastor or
That's
whoever's
smart.
leading the service will take it over from there.
Yeah, I'm sure that would be
You
really
don't
awkward.
really know the dynamic between like the organist or the piano, so that prevents a lot.
Mm-mm.
But the thing would be is if you went through your whole message and then you had that awkward moment at the very end, everybody would forget the message and remember that awkward moment
Oh yeah,
from you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can see that happening.
it
But
was funny.
in the future, I'm sure you're gonna have some more stories.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm sure there's plenty of them to come.
I'm sure. I haven't had I'm probably gonna have my own embarrassing story at some point. Just haven't. At least I don't remember it right now. I must have blocked it out from memory if it has happened.
All
I've
right.
got plenty of other embarrassing stories, just not from the pulpit.
It'll come.
We'll leave those.
As long as if you keep it going and keep staying where you are, it's going to happen.
Mhm.
It's inevitable. It's going to happen. Okay, so let's see. That was your called to preach story, and then next we're going to go into how you got into your current position. Is it associate or youth pastor?
So it's the associate pastor.
Okay.
So like, I'll do some stuff with the youth every now and then, but
Yeah.
I'm basically just the like assistant associate pastor who
Okay.
does anything and everything.
Just a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So let's get, I guess, a little story behind that as well, like how that came about. Because as like somebody that's called to preach, like I'm sure it was like pretty hard for you to be like, okay, what's next, Lord, or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And like I'm not exactly sure of the whole story of how this all came about. So
Yeah.
if you want to
Yeah.
share whatever you want.
Yeah, and just like kind of like side trail because I am a preacher and I have to preach. But like you talking about, you're wondering what's next is like
Yeah.
especially when you're in our age, graduating from college, and you're
Yeah.
trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to do next? There's so much pressure
Oh, I'm
to
sure.
be like, I need to go here, need to do this, and need to do it right now. And like, because I graduated from Bible college last spring in 23, so like you
Right.
graduate and you're like, it's time. But for some reason, when I graduated, I was just kind of content and didn't feel the pressure to need to step into an official role at that time. But with Freedom, where I'm at now, so it was actually Adam's grandpa got me connected to the church, and he connected me to the pastor to come preach on a Sunday night. I went and preached on a Sunday night, and everything went really, really well. And I just went to preach. Like I preached on Joseph and God's sovereignty through all of our life, and just preached on that, and just got connected to. And that was about a little over a year and closer to a year and a half ago now.
Uh-huh.
And so I got connected to him, and they around that time they kind of wanted me to come and be like the youth pastor.
Okay.
Soon after that, but
Yeah.
I was just like single. I'm still young. I don't want to step into a role like that, being single, being unmarried and 22.
Yeah.
Just like I don't think there's a lot of wisdom there, and they very much understood that. But the pastor kind of told me, like, if you ever want to come, just like give us a call, let us know. And so like I would go and I preached there before I came in the role I'm in now. I think I preached there like 6 or 7 times.
Okay.
But now 3 of those times
Wow.
was I preached to youth route for the church last September, and then I filled in a few other Sundays and stuff. And it was just one of those things where I couldn't get Freedom away from my mind,
Mhm.
and like I couldn't get him off my heart. And I was like, and that's how I've learned is like, whenever we're feeling kind of like led or called or whatever kind of language we want to use, it's something you can't get away from.
Yep.
And I just kind of couldn't get away from it. So I started talking with the pastor and with like my church too, probably in like the spring of this year.
Okay.
And I just told him basically where I was and started talking about it. And he was completely like on board and wanted to go for it and he needed somebody to just come and take the load off of him because he's done it by himself for over 20 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, that's kind of how we got started in June. And so I'm technically like an interim right now
Okay.
until for like the first 6 months, but
Yeah.
Lord willing, I should be like, and I don't see any reason why it won't happen. Cause I mean, I love it. And I think they like me a good bit too. So
Yeah.
Lord willing, by the beginning of next year, I should be pretty full time there, which is cool.
That's awesome.
So are you like obviously are you preaching every week?
So it depends. I preach a lot on Sunday nights. So
Okay.
like I've preached 3 of the last 6 Sunday nights. Well, 3 of the last 5 Sunday nights we have had service. We didn't have service last Sunday night, so I didn't preach. I was supposed to. But yeah, I mean, I'm preaching pretty regularly, like 3 to 4 times a month, 2 to 3, 4 times a month.
Okay.
it's been really good, and I suspect that it'll probably kind of increase a little bit
Mhm.
as time goes on, just to take a little bit more of the load off of him too, which is good.
And then I know you're like working with the church too. Is it like a Monday to Friday type deal?
So it's basically whatever's needed.
Okay.
Like some days that looks like my day may look like today we went and visited somebody like a couple hours away.
Right.
And that was like basically our whole day was going to make a visit. And some days that looks like me sitting in a coffee shop and doing work on Canva for like a few hours and just
Yeah.
making random things for Facebook or updating the website. It
Yeah.
just right now I'm technically Tuesday to Thursday is like my schedule right now during this time. It'll probably be like 4 days a week when it's full time because I want to take Monday off as like because like Saturday's not going to be an off day, Sunday's obviously not, and Monday's going to be like my off day. But right now it's technically Tuesday to Thursday, but it's also just like it really just depends on the week. You're kind of always on the clock and always kind of off the clock too.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a weird dynamic because with my hyper productive mind, it's like really weird for me to just be like, I'm not like going everywhere and doing everything right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So
You're basically like a church intern right now.
yeah, a little bit. I'm like a little.
No, not like
I don't know what I'm trying
like
to
the
say.
assistant.
No, I mean I'm
You're like
the
more like the assistant. To the pastor,
I'm the
right?
assistant pastor. Like
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like the dynamic of the way the ministry works is it's not a we go and sit in the office. It's
Right.
a like if we need to make a visit, we'll make a visit. If we need to go to the hospital, we'll do that.
Right.
If it's time to study, we'll
Right.
study. It's just
Right.
it just depends on what the day
Just a
brings.
little bit everything.
But yeah, like I'm always just kind of like ready to go, whatever's needed, and that's just kind of. But yeah,
I was
that's
gonna
kinda
say
how
like
it
with
is.
the pastor, like I mean, I know like Chris, like he's always on call. Like you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
if someone's in the hospital, okay, you're
Yeah.
going up to the hospital. It doesn't
Oh,
matter what time
for
of night.
sure,
So
for sure.
like you said,
Yeah.
Also have a question.
Go.
Were you ever interested in the youth, or was it more on like the pastor position?
So ever since I kind of surrendered, I've always had a desire to just like I just kind of want to be a senior pastor down the
Mhm.
road, and I always want that. Now I love working with youth, and I could very much
Mhm.
see myself working with youth too. And like when we went to camp this year, we went to camp, and it was about an hour away from where I lived, and
Mhm.
like I didn't even know we were going until like a week before. But I drove up there every day to
Mhm.
spend because we didn't have anybody staying with the kids.
Mhm.
And that's genuinely probably my favorite week of this year. Like a bunch of our kids got saved. I mean, it was incredible. Like it was just great to spend time with them. So like I do love that aspect of it, but
Mhm.
I just think with like my like personality and gifting, I always have leaned more towards like the senior pastor,
Mhm.
assistant pastor type
Mhm.
role. So I see that, but I'm also very much open to anything like that
Love it.
too.
That's awesome.
Great question, Lizzie. Great
Yes, it
answer,
was.
Noah.
Thanks.
All right, now we are going to move on to kind of a little bit of your hobbies. First, we're going to talk about golf.
Yes.
Um,
It's a love-hate
Noah,
relationship.
it is a love.
By the way, follow Preacher Golf on Instagram.
Is it preacher.golf or
Preacher.golf with me
I knew
and
it.
Adam or Preacher.golf.
There you go.
So we'll start posting at some point again in the future.
That's very promising. All right, so how did you start playing golf?
So it's actually my grandpa, the one I recorded a podcast with. He got me into golf when I was, I think, 13 or 14. And he gave me like an old set of clubs, and he kind of just taught me how to swing generally.
Uh-huh.
And we went and played at Indian Valley, and he like played my first round there, and I think I shot like 140 and absolutely tore it up. But he was kind of my teacher for the first while, and eventually I got some lessons from a guy, and he helped me out a lot and got better. And yeah, so I've been kind of playing ever since then. It's very much a love-hate relationship though.
It's a relaxing sport, but at the same time, like your anger, just like it can come out like just
Golf reveals like how sinful you are. Like like you think that you have like conquered sin in so many ways, and you get on the golf course and you hit a shank or you hit a hook, and it's just bad, and you're like your immediate reaction is to do something or say something you shouldn't do or say. You're like, oh, okay, I'm not as okay as I thought I was, which works really well for my personality because I'm naturally extremely hard on myself, and golf is the sport that beats you up by itself, and if you're hard on yourself, it's going to let you can beat yourself up even more. So it's fun.
I think that's what happened a little bit when I played yesterday.
I tagged along with
Oh,
him
you went with him
yesterday,
yesterday? Where'd you play?
We played at Okanichi.
Well, he played.
Oh, was that in Hillsborough?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
He played.
I played.
I found him 20 golf balls.
Lizzie's.
That's a good.
I'm gonna
That's a
start
good.
bringing her because
That's a good cart. That's a good job.
She's
That's
like
real
a
good
she's like
job.
a dog. She's like a ball
I
retriever.
was just like walking around like the little like bodies of water there,
Yep.
and like I was well, you know the little floaters, like the little floater balls. That's
Uh-huh.
what I was finding. Like,
Yep.
it's crazy.
Lizzie,
Wow.
I got to bring you to every golf match now.
I just find the ones that you lose. That's what happens.
That's right, because there's plenty
I
of
make
those.
up for it. Yeah.
There's plenty of those.
All right, Noah, what has been your best score on 18 holes?
I shot 69 at Castle Pines, I think, in 2021.
Wait, 69 on 18?
That's 3 under par.
That's what I've been getting
Oh
on.
my God. Isn't that what you did on 9?
Pretty much. Yeah, that's
Sorry.
fine.
This is turned
I
from
was
Noah.
like-
Let's talk about Noah Hooper's golf, so let's roast Noah Robinson's
Exactly.
golf.
I was like, 69 on 18?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah, that was 3 under par. I think I
Yeah,
shot under
wow.
par like 4 or 5 times,
Yeah.
maybe. Not a ton. I haven't done it
Oh
in like
my
over a
goodness.
year or so. But
So you started playing at like 13 or 14, so you've been at it like a little less than 10 years.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, which is kind of crazy.
That is really cool. And do you have a favorite course?
Yes, Castle Pines. At
Okay.
least, so I could probably answer this a couple ways. So my favorite course that I play a lot is Castle Pines, which is like my home course. It's where I worked at. If you
Yeah.
follow my Instagram, you've seen that early morning
Mhm.
sunrise a ton of times.
And be real.
Yeah, and Be Real. Be Real, like I'm either
Yeah.
Castle Pines or the Blend on
Yep.
every Be Real pretty much. Not as much now because I don't work there as much anymore.
Right.
But probably Castle Pines. But I think my favorite course, like outside of that I've ever played, is probably Old North State down past Ashboro. It's like
Okay.
private course my cousin used to work at, and it's just gorgeous. Like,
Okay.
absolutely gorgeous.
Now, I didn't write this down, but do you have a least favorite course?
Oh goodness, that's a good question. Oh my goodness, I can think of this. I don't like Country Hills.
Okay.
I really don't. Adam, I don't like Siler City Country Club, even though he took us there a couple weeks ago. Let me think. I feel like I should have another course. There's a course down in Pinehurst that I don't like
Uh-huh.
just because of when I played a tournament there in high school and I shot 117 in a tournament, in a summer tournament. That was when I'm like playing golf, playing a lot.
Yeah.
And I made a 13 on a hole. I hit 4 balls out of bounds. So that was a fun experience.
That's terrible. I just started playing like a few months ago, so I haven't like experienced a ton of bad courses, but it sounds like
Southwick is not a good course.
no, yeah,
Wait, which
Southwick.
one? Is that the one you...
Yeah, that's where me and Adam went last week. But it's just like courses are in the middle of nowhere. I don't know if you've ever like.
Oh, yeah.
noticed it. It's just like they're never in like in the city. It's always like in the outskirts of.
Oh yeah, unless it's like the only ones in the city are typically like country clubs,
Right.
like Alamance Country Club or whatever. Like it's always the ones that are actually in the city are either like a municipal golf course that anybody can play or a
Right.
country club that like nobody can play.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like a golf course. I'm a nerd when it comes to like architecture and things like that too.
Yeah, I mean, you did mow for a very long time.
yeah.
In the
Yeah.
morning, and it seemed like a vibe, to be honest.
Oh, it's so much fun when that sun is rising, and when I'm like listening to music podcasts when I'm working, blowing
Mhm.
greens off, and especially when like before like 9:30, that time from
Oh, I'm
like
sure.
6:30 to 9:30 is
Yeah.
just peak. It's so peaceful out there.
I love it. And I've only played for a few months, but my best score so far is a 51 on 9 holes.
That's pretty
So-
good. That's honestly pretty good for now.
I think I get it from like swinging a baseball bat. Obviously, it's a lot different swinging
Mhm.
like clubs, but I'm really getting into it. Lizzie can attest to that because
It's an addiction.
a little bit of money's going to it.
He uses his...
I have an old bank account that I
For
use.
his resale. He like resells stuff,
Uh-huh.
and that's his golf money.
Oh,
So Lizzie doesn't see it come out.
I don't see... Yeah,
You
it's
know?
not our bank
you don't want to see it
It's
come
not
out.
our bank account.
You don't want to see it come out because golf's expensive.
Oh yeah,
Like you can go and play, and if you go and play, and it's a $40 round or more, and you like need to buy golf balls, and you hit range balls, I mean, you're spending like at least $60-$70.
It's
on a
crazy.
round.
It was genuinely crazy. And then you can't just use your old clubs. You have to get new clubs,
Yeah.
a new bag. You have to get gloves. You have to get balls. You have to get tee. Like it's gonna end up costing a lot of money in the long run.
It
but
costs a lot of money. Like I've spent over time,
Oh,
I've
goodness.
probably spent over 10 grand on golf at least.
Don't tell Lizzie that.
Like just, but that's
Please
been way like over time. But most of my clubs a lot of my clubs have gotten used besides like my
Right.
irons and wedges.
Yep.
I'm sure y'all are enjoying golf talk with Noah's,
Oh, absolutely.
but like
the 6 people that are watching right now.
it's so expensive. Adam is lapping it up. I'm sure if he's
Adam's
watching, Adam's
watching.
probably not even watching.
No,
it.
Marissa's probably watching it. And
Yeah, Marissa's watching and thinking I need to get my
I need to
husband out
tell
of
Adam
golf.
about what they said.
I need to get my husband out of golf so he saves us money.
That's exactly right. Okay, so my last kind of I can't even think of words right now. My last
Words
section,
are hard, Noah.
They're very
You're
hard.
doing great.
You've made 190 episodes. This is a lot harder. Um, okay, how did your love for the blend start? For those who do not know what the blend is, it is a local coffee shop.
And actually, I have a question about this when you continue.
So,
I'm
Noah,
ready
if you
for
want
it.
to talk about how it started, and then Lizzie has a question.
So,
No questions.
how did I start? So the first time I went to the blend, I've never worked in coffee. You work in coffee. I've never worked in coffee, but I feel like I know all kinds of random coffee lore, even though I've like it's funny. Anyways, I went. My buddy Matt Hobbs took me there. Well, after we recorded a podcast,
Okay.
and we went to the blend after that, and I like walked in and was like, "This place is sweet." And this was in 2022, so I think I had just started drinking coffee somewhat recently.
Oh,
I didn't start drinking coffee till maybe 21 or 22. No, it was probably 21. I don't know. Anyways, I haven't always drunk coffee, but like I went in there and I was like, I need to come study here. So I started studying there, and I would go to some different shops. Like I'd go to Filament. I would go probably mainly Filament in the blend.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
Similar vibes.
yeah, very much basic white girl vibes, but I like it. And I just started going there, and it's really cool because I chose like the blend as like kind of like my spot. So it came from this is kind of a long way around it, but I was reading a book on like personal evangelism,
Okay.
and it was talking about, I think the title of it was Everyday Church, if it's the right one I'm thinking of. And he was talking about how we can like do things in our daily life to make evangelism more readily available.
Yep. And
And he said, be a regular. Like instead of going to like a bunch of different like
places.
gyms or a bunch of different coffee shops, pick one and be like, I'm gonna be there.
Yeah.
That's the way. If I go, I'm gonna go there. And I was like, I'm gonna be a regular at the blend, because like normally I'm studying my Bible, or
Yeah.
I'm like writing a sermon, or I'm doing random podcast work or something like
Yeah.
that. But I typically always have my Bible sitting on the table.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go and be a regular there and try to like maybe build relationships or whatever with people. So that was kind of how I like ended up there.
That's funny.
And there's some cool stories from that. Like genuinely, like there are some of the people that are the closest in my life, like some of my closest friends I've met like through the blend or through a coffee shop.
That's
Just
awesome.
so cool.
That
It's
is
really cool.
I was gonna say I love the blend. If it wasn't 25 minutes like away,
Yeah.
like if it was closer, it's a very good study spot.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
Like there's multiple rooms. Like I don't have to. I don't know. Some coffee shops, I'm like, everyone is on top of me. I don't know. You kind of feel like
you can exist in there and forget
Yes.
that everything else is going on.
yeah, good coffee, whatever. Okay, my question is, did you start off drinking black coffee?
Yes.
Okay, do you get that because it's cheap, or do you get that like? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you
Yes,
get that because it's like
to
no
both.
calories and cheap, or like
There's
what's
two-
the incentive
so-
behind that?
So I thought my mind. So my former pastor got me into drinking coffee, and I was like, I couldn't stand it the first time I drank black coffee. Hated it. It was disgusting.
Yep.
But I was like, I want to learn how to drink coffee, and if I'm going to drink coffee, I'm going to do it right. So I'm going to drink black coffee, and that was literally what I did.
That's a commitment.
I never put like cream, never put sugar, never. I didn't drink probably a latte or cappuccino until like after drinking coffee for like 2 years or something like that. Like I may have had one somewhere along the way or
Right.
tried it, but I just never did. And it was probably partly because I was like, that's the right way to drink coffee, because I'm not secretly, I am an old man. And it was two, because it's cheaper. Like I can go to the blend and get a
Yeah.
dark roast for $3.20, and it's also 0 calories. So most, like if you get a latte or whatever, I mean, you're drinking like 400 calories sometimes, something
yeah.
like that, maybe more. It depends on how much sugar's in it. You would
Oh,
probably know better making drinks and stuff, but so yeah, that was kind of like multiple. And I just like black coffee. I feel like it
That's
fits my
crazy.
vibe too when I'm studying.
Yeah.
It just kind of works.
Well,
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Some more questions.
that's all your questions?
What is your next favorite coffee shop behind the blend? That's my last question.
Or is the blend your favorite?
Or
Like,
yeah, is it like blow everything
There-
away where no one is
So-
even close?
Blend vibe, the black coffee, yes, it's the best. But like because that's like the place I go to. So it's 20 minutes from me. It's just the place I always end up at. But I got like 2 that are like recent developments. So I used to go Filament a lot. I would go to Sanctuary when I was over at like my former church. I like Arrowhead a lot in Greensboro. Arrowhead is fire. Arrowhead's got a really sweet space. But Olivia's
I've been
place in Graham, their coffee's really good. And then a place near where my church is in Eden, King's Mill Coffee Co. is
I've never even heard
amazing. Yes, it's like a brand new shop. It is one of
of that.
the
King's Mill.
best
Huh.
spaces like around too. Like it's almost like the space is almost up there with the blend for me, and that is really hard for
Right.
I like study space to be
Huh.
close to the blend for me. So
I guess
And-
I know where we're going this weekend.
it's only like an hour away from here, probably.
Yeah, only an hour.
Yeah, only an
For some
hour.
Coffee. Oh,
Yeah.
We can go to the coffee and then go to
And-
the drive-in theater.
And honorable mention, Louie and Honey in Winston Salem.
Louis and honey.
They have the best cinnamon rolls
Oh
ever.
my
Wait,
goodness.
I think I've seen those on Reels.
You probably
I
have,
think
and their
I have.
coffee is so
think I
good
have.
too. Their coffee's so good too. Sorry, Habit didn't get a mention, but I don't end up there
It's
much.
okay.
I've only ended up there
It's
like
okay,
2 or
Noah.
3 times.
It's okay. We have beef with you.
You have beef with me?
Just
Just
kidding.
kidding.
Just kidding. Okay. So honestly, Noah, that was all my questions for you. Do you have any other input that you want to talk about yourself, or any other stories, or anything about the podcast or our podcast, or
I don't know.
if you have anything, great. If you don't,
I don't know if I have anything else. We could get into random theological discussions, but that could be a different podcast probably.
all right. Well, oh my goodness, I would love that.
We should come back and do one where we do like something like that. Too.
That
It'd
would be
fun.
absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
To the how many people are viewing now? Probably like 3.
No.
3.
To the 45 people.
They heard
No
me.
way! No way! No way! 45 people are staying for 45 minutes. Let's go
Never
with
Have faith.
the 5 people.
Believe
I do.
by faith, Noah believe that his podcast would grow.
What Bible verse is that?
Second opinions 3. 24.
Hebrews 3:4.
Hebrews.
All right. Well, Noah, if you don't have anything else,
I'm good.
okay.
I'm content.
Lizzie, do you have anything else?
I don't think so.
Noah, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on the Years
Thank you
in
for
the
having
Making
me.
podcast. This episode has been years in the making of happening. You know,
Yeah, it has been.
Also, thanks for driving. So how long was
30
it?
minutes.
Thanks for
Okay.
driving so far.
Yeah, I know. I've drove so far. I
He's had a
literally
long
drive.
day.
I literally drive 30 minutes everywhere though, so it's okay.
Yeah, you're
Used
30
to it.
minutes from everything.
Literally everything.
Love it. Well, Noah, it was a pleasure to have you on the pod. We love you and we're proud of you,
Thank you.
and we are praying for you, and we hope you continue to do great things.
Thank you.
But if anyone has nothing else, we're gonna say goodbye. See you next time.